Have you ever felt a deep, lingering ache in your joints and wondered if it was something more than just getting older? A patient of mine once sat across from me with that same question in her eyes, unsure whether her pain was a simple bad day or the beginning of something far more serious. I want you to imagine this for a moment. You wake up one morning, reach for the edge of the bed, and something just doesn't feel right. Your knees refuse to bend the way they used to, or your spine feels weaker than you remember. You tell yourself it's normal, but a quiet voice inside you wonders if there's a deeper truth waiting to be understood. For millions of Americans over 55, this isn't just imagination. Joint pain, stiffness, and bone loss are everyday realities, yet most people can't tell the difference between arthritis and osteoporosis. One affects the joints, causing swelling, stiffness, and limited mobility. The other weakens the bones from the inside out, leaving them fragile and prone to fractures, often without a single warning sign. When these two conditions are misunderstood or mistaken for one another, seniors delay treatment, fear the worst, and sometimes face complications that could have been prevented. But here's the truth I want you to hold on to today. Your body is not failing you. It is speaking to you. Every ache, every moment of stiffness, every unexpected weakness is a message asking for care, attention, and support. And the earlier we listen, the more power we have to protect your independence and your quality of life. After decades of clinical experience, I've seen how easily seniors overlook small warning signs. I've also seen how simple, consistent habits like gentle movement, nourishing meals, vitamin D, good posture, and stress reduction can make a remarkable difference. Science continues to show us that bones and joints can still adapt, strengthen, and heal, even in your 70s and 80s. So in today's video, I'm going to help you understand the real truth behind arthritis versus osteoporosis and share practical steps you can start using today to reduce pain, prevent fractures, and stay active longer. Stay with me, and if you find this helpful, remember to subscribe to Senior Health Daily so we can continue this journey together. Understanding the conditions clearly. As we begin exploring the heart of this topic, I want you to imagine that we're sitting together in the quiet of a clinic room. The light is soft, the chair is comfortable, and you finally have a moment to understand what your body has been trying to tell you. This is where clarity begins. Let's start with arthritis, because for many seniors, it becomes one of the earliest signs that the joints are asking for attention. Arthritis is not just one single condition. It's a family of disorders that affect the joints in different ways. The most common type, especially in seniors, is osteoarthritis. This is the kind that comes with time, where the protective cartilage between the bones slowly thins out. Some people describe it as feeling like sandpaper rubbing inside their knee or hip. Then there's rheumatoid arthritis, an autoimmune form where the body's immune system mistakenly attacks the joints. It can be painful, unpredictable, and emotionally exhausting. And of course, there is gout, a form of arthritis caused by tiny uric acid crystals forming in the joints, often leading to sudden, intense pain. The causes vary, but they always come back to how the body changes with age. Cartilage doesn't regenerate quickly. Years of everyday movement add up. Previous injuries leave their mark. Excess weight places extra pressure on the joints. Inflammation becomes harder to control. Symptoms show up quietly at first: swelling, stiffness, a warm sensation in the joint, or that grinding sound you hear when you bend your knee after sitting for too long. There are also myths that I think every senior deserves to understand. One of the biggest is the idea that weather alone causes arthritis pain. Weather can make symptoms feel more noticeable, but it doesn't create the disease. Another myth is the belief that moving too much wears out the joints. The truth is the opposite. Joints depend on movement the way a plant depends on water. Cartilage acts like a shock absorber, and it gets nourishment when the joint moves. Staying still for too long actually makes stiffness worse. Now let's shift to osteoporosis, a condition that hides in silence. While arthritis makes itself known through pain and swelling, osteoporosis quietly weakens the bones from the inside out. The bone becomes porous, fragile, almost like a honeycomb that has lost too many of its supporting walls. Many seniors don't even realize their bones are thinning until they experience a fracture in the hip, spine, or wrist. These fractures aren't caused by dramatic accidents, but by everyday movements like stepping off a curb or bending over to pick something up. The causes of osteoporosis are deeply connected to age, hormones, and nutrition. After menopause, for example, women lose bone density quickly because estrogen plays a major role in keeping bones strong. Low vitamin D, insufficient calcium, smoking, inactivity, and certain medications all contribute. And just like arthritis, osteoporosis carries its own myths. Some people believe only women get it, but men over 65 also lose bone at a rapid pace. Others think that if they have no pain, their bones must be fine. Unfortunately, bone loss is painless until it causes a break. Bones are living tissue. They remodel every single day. When the body breaks down bone faster than it builds it, thinning begins. This simple imbalance explains osteoporosis in clearer terms than any textbook can. Understanding arthritis and osteoporosis on this deeper level is the first step toward protecting your health and independence. In the next section, we will look at how these two conditions differ and why so many seniors confuse them. Key differences: arthritis versus osteoporosis. Now that we've laid a clear foundation, let's gently untangle the differences between arthritis and osteoporosis. This is the part where many seniors suddenly feel a sense of relief, because once you understand what your body is truly dealing with, everything becomes less frightening and far more manageable. Arthritis is essentially a problem of the joints. It affects the spaces where bones meet, glide, and support movement. When arthritis is active, the joint becomes inflamed or the cartilage wears down, and the pain usually shows up when you try to move. Simple activities like standing up, bending your knee, climbing stairs, or lifting your arm can suddenly feel heavier, tighter, or more uncomfortable. Sometimes the affected joint becomes visibly swollen or warm to the touch, giving you an obvious signal that something is happening. Osteoporosis tells a very different story. It is not about the joints at all. It is a condition where the bone itself becomes thinner and weaker. It doesn't make your joints swell, and it doesn't cause stiffness when you wake up. In fact, many people with significant bone loss feel completely fine, right up until the moment they break a bone. And that's one of the reasons osteoporosis becomes so dangerous. It stays invisible while silently taking away the strength your body relies on every day. A key difference that helps people understand is this: arthritis causes pain when you move the joint, while osteoporosis usually only causes pain after a bone has already fractured. Arthritis shows itself. Osteoporosis hides. But despite being so different, the two conditions often overlap in how they affect daily life. Seniors who develop arthritis may move less because of discomfort, and that reduced movement can accelerate bone loss, increasing the risk of osteoporosis. Similarly, someone who develops osteoporosis might become afraid of falling and limit activity, which eventually weakens the joints and muscles and contributes to arthritis-like stiffness. This is where confusion begins. Both conditions limit mobility, both create fear, and both worsen when the body stops moving. There are also shared risk factors that make it easy to mix them up. Age plays a role in both. A sedentary lifestyle slows the body's natural repair systems. Poor nutrition deprives both joints and bones of the building blocks they need. Smoking disrupts blood flow, hormone balance, and cell recovery. Hormone changes in later life contribute to cartilage thinning and bone loss alike. When you look at all these overlapping pieces, it becomes clear why so many seniors wonder if their pain comes from arthritis, osteoporosis, or both. Understanding the distinction is empowering. When you know which condition is affecting you, or even if both are present, you're far more equipped to choose the right steps to protect your independence. And as we move into the next section, I want to show you how profoundly these conditions can shape everyday life, and why recognizing the impact is just as important as recognizing the cause. How these conditions impact senior life. When we talk about arthritis and osteoporosis, We're not just talking about medical terms or textbook definitions. We're talking about how these conditions weave themselves into the rhythm of daily life. And if you're living with either one, you already know it doesn't just affect your joints or your bones. It affects the way you move, the choices you make, the confidence you carry, and even the way you see your own future. Let's start with arthritis and how it shows up in everyday moments. Many seniors tell me the same story. They wake up in the morning and sit on the edge of the bed, waiting for their joints to warm up before they dare take those first steps. Walking across the room feels a little heavier. Going down the stairs feels a little slower. Activities that once felt automatic, tying shoes, gardening, carrying groceries, getting out of the car, now require thought, effort, or even planning. Arthritis doesn't simply limit movement. It takes away spontaneity. It creates a hesitation that chips away at independence, one small moment at a time. Osteoporosis impacts life differently, but just as profoundly. The biggest challenge it brings is not pain, but fear. Fear of falling, fear of breaking a bone, fear of losing mobility or needing long-term care. Many older adults with osteoporosis adjust their entire lifestyle around avoiding risk. They stop reaching high shelves, avoid uneven sidewalks, hesitate on stairs, or decline invitations that require too much walking. Over time, the fear itself becomes restrictive, shrinking the world they live in. And of course, there's the emotional weight both conditions carry. Chronic pain from arthritis can wear on even the strongest spirit. Frustration builds, fatigue sets in. Some seniors begin to feel isolated because the activities they once loved, dancing, hiking, volunteering, caring for grandchildren, no longer feel possible. Osteoporosis brings its own emotional strain. A sudden fracture can change a life overnight. A broken hip can steal independence. A collapsed vertebra can change posture and self-esteem. The fear of what if it happens again lingers long after the bone heals. But here is something I want you to hold on to. In my years of caring for older adults, I've seen a powerful truth. Seniors who stay active, who keep moving in ways that feel safe and manageable, who don't surrender to fear, almost always recover better. Their mood improves, their confidence grows, their mobility lasts longer. Activity is not only physical medicine, it is emotional medicine too. As we move into the next section, let's talk about something just as important as symptoms and impact. Let's talk about the warning signs many seniors overlook and how the right diagnosis can completely change the course of your health. Diagnosis and warning signs seniors miss. As we move deeper into this conversation, I want you to picture something with me. Imagine sitting in your living room, sipping your morning coffee, and feeling a familiar stiffness in your knees or a quiet ache in your back. You tell yourself it's nothing serious, just another part of getting older. Maybe you rub the area a little and wait for it to pass. And because the body eventually relaxes, you go on with your day, forgetting that the message was there at all. This is exactly how arthritis and osteoporosis slip beneath the radar. The signs don't arrive with trumpets or alarms. They whisper, they nudge, and unless you know what to look for, it's easy to miss them until the problem grows. Arthritis often begins with morning stiffness that lasts longer than it should. 30 minutes or more is a clear sign that your joints are struggling to recover from rest. You may notice swelling that comes and goes, or a joint that feels warm to the touch compared to the surrounding skin. Some people describe a grinding or popping sensation when they move, especially in their knees or hips, almost as if something inside isn't gliding the way it used to. Over time, the discomfort becomes more predictable. Long walks feel harder. Getting up from a low chair takes effort. Bending your fingers or opening jars becomes a challenge you never expected. Then there's osteoporosis, the condition that rarely announces itself until something breaks. Many seniors lose height gradually and never question why. Their posture changes little by little, their shoulders rounding forward, because the vertebrae in the spine are weakening. Others notice their grip strength fading, or they find themselves more unsteady than before, brushing it off as just aging. But the greatest warning sign comes in the form of fractures from minor accidents. A small slip, a gentle bump, a fall that once would have caused only a bruise suddenly results in a broken wrist or hip. One of the most valuable lessons I've learned through years of practice is that early diagnosis is far easier than living with the consequences of a late one. A simple DEXA scan can reveal osteoporosis before a fracture ever happens. It is recommended for all adults over 65, yet too many seniors never schedule it because they assume nothing is wrong. The same is true for arthritis. A careful physical exam, an X-ray, or even listening to your description of symptoms can uncover what's happening long before severe damage sets in. Knowledge doesn't just bring clarity, it brings control. It helps you make informed decisions that protect your independence. And now that you understand the warning signs, let's move into something equally important. I want to show you the steps you can take every day to prevent these conditions from worsening and to support your body in ways that truly matter. Prevention and daily management. Now that you understand how arthritis and osteoporosis reveal themselves, let's turn towards something far more empowering. I want to talk about what you can do each day to protect your joints, strengthen your bones, and regain a sense of control over your health. These steps are not meant to overwhelm you. In fact, they are simple, gentle, and often surprisingly effective. Over the years, I've watched countless seniors transform their mobility, their confidence, and their overall well-being through small, consistent habits. Let's start with movement, because if there is one thing the body depends on more than anything else, it's the ability to move. Low-impact activities like walking, tai chi, or swimming help lubricate the joints and encourage cartilage to stay as healthy as possible. These movements also activate the muscles that support your bones, reducing joint strain. Strength training may sound intimidating, but it doesn't require heavy weights or gym memberships. Even simple resistance exercises done at home can improve bone density. I've seen seniors in their 70s reduce their fracture risk by nearly 40% just by adding 2 days of strength-building exercises a week. And then there's balance training, something most people overlook until they experience a fall. A few minutes a day practicing heel-to-toe walking or standing on one foot can dramatically improve stability and prevent injuries long before they happen. Nutrition is another pillar of bone and joint health. Your body needs calcium to strengthen bones, vitamin D to absorb that calcium, and protein to build muscle that protects your joints. Leafy greens, dairy products, fortified foods, sunlight exposure, fatty fish, nuts, and seeds all play simple but powerful roles in keeping your body strong. Omega-3 fatty acids are especially helpful for calming inflammation in the joints. Many seniors think they're eating enough protein, but after age 60, the body needs more to maintain muscle mass. A balanced plate becomes one of the most important forms of medicine you can give yourself. Weight management also makes a tremendous difference. Losing even 5 to 10 pounds can reduce pressure on the knees and hips in a way that many people describe as life-changing. Excess weight doesn't just stress the joints. It also increases inflammation throughout the body and doubles the risk of fractures. Every pound you release is a gift to both your joints and your bones. Lifestyle adjustments may seem small, but they make your everyday environment safer and more supportive. Quitting smoking improves blood flow and slows bone loss. Limiting alcohol protects balance and bone density. Improving lighting in the home, removing slippery rugs, using non-slip mats in the bathroom, and wearing supportive shoes can prevent accidents that lead to devastating fractures. For some people, a cane or brace isn't a sign of weakness. It's a tool that preserves independence. And sometimes, medical treatments are part of the journey too. Anti-inflammatory medications can help calm painful flare-ups. Bone-strengthening prescriptions build density from the inside out. Physical therapy restores mobility in ways home exercises alone cannot. Heat relaxes stiff joints. Cold reduces swelling after activity. Surgery is always a last resort, but when chosen wisely, it can restore mobility and quality of life that once felt lost. What I want you to remember is this: Prevention is not about perfection, it's about consistency. It's about giving your body the care it has been asking for and understanding that even the smallest habits can create remarkable change over time. Real-life stories. Whenever I talk about arthritis and osteoporosis, I often think of the many people I've met over the years. Their stories stay with me because they show what medical textbooks can't always capture. They remind me that behind every diagnosis is a real life, a real fear, and a real hope for something better. Today, I want to share a few of those stories with you because they reflect what's possible when knowledge and action come together. The first is about a woman in her early 70s who came to see me after months of worsening knee pain. She moved slowly, using the arms of the chair to lower herself carefully, and she told me she was afraid she would soon lose her independence. As we talked, it became clear that she had been living with osteoarthritis for years, but tried to push through the discomfort, believing it was just part of getting older. Instead of giving in, she agreed to try physical therapy, gentle strength exercises, and a simple walking routine. I watched her return over the next few months with a lighter step and a brighter outlook. The pain didn't disappear completely, but her mobility returned, her confidence grew, and she said something I'll never forget. "I didn't get younger, but I got stronger." That strength came not from luck, but from understanding what her body needed and taking action. The second story is about a woman who discovered she had early osteoporosis almost by accident. She felt fine. She had no pain. She had no reason in her mind to believe anything was wrong. But one day, she slipped on a wet kitchen floor and fractured her wrist from a fall so gentle she barely remembered it. The shock of such a small accident causing such a big injury led her to get a DEXA scan, which revealed significant bone loss. Instead of panicking, she chose to take control. She adjusted her diet, committed to strength training, started vitamin D supplements, and came in regularly to monitor her progress. A year later, her bone density had improved, and she told me she felt more in control of her future than she had in a decade. Her story is a powerful reminder that osteoporosis doesn't announce itself. It hides, and the only way to stay ahead of it is through awareness and early testing. The last story I want to share is about a 72-year-old man who believed it was too late to make any real difference in his bone health. His family urged him to try, and he finally agreed to a program that combined resistance training, balance exercises, better nutrition, and proper vitamin D levels. At first, he moved cautiously, unsure of himself, but within months, his posture improved. His energy returned, and his follow-up scans showed measurable improvement. He told me that the moment he realized he could change his own health was the moment he stopped feeling old. Stories like these remind us that age is not the end of strength or mobility. With the right approach, the right mindset, and the willingness to take that first step, seniors can reclaim far more than they think. And now, as we move into the next section, I want to shift from individual stories to a broader truth. There are powerful principles that, when practiced consistently, truly transform senior lives. What truly changes senior lives? As we come to the final part of this section, I want to bring everything together in a way that empowers you. Because while arthritis and osteoporosis can feel overwhelming, the truth is that your future is not determined by these conditions. It's determined by how you respond to them. I've seen seniors transform their health, regain strength they thought was lost, and rebuild confidence in their bodies through small, steady actions that accumulate over time. These are not dramatic, overnight changes. They are gentle shifts that begin with awareness and grow into lifelong habits. The first principle is early detection. So many lives change the moment someone finally understands what is happening inside their body. A diagnosis doesn't take away your control. It gives it back to you. When seniors know they have arthritis or osteoporosis, or even both, they can choose the right tools, treatments, and habits that prevent further decline. I've always believed that the earlier you shine a light on a problem, the fewer shadows it casts. Consistency is the second principle. Your body doesn't need perfection, it needs regular care. A few minutes of movement each day, a mindful approach to meals, a daily walk in the sunlight, a set of strengthening exercises twice a week. These small choices shape your long-term health more than any major treatment ever could. I've watched seniors who were once afraid to move rediscover their confidence simply by showing up for themselves over and over again. The third principle is nourishment. Bones and joints are living structures that respond to what you feed them. A balanced diet rich in proteins, leafy greens, healthy fats, and adequate calcium creates a strong foundation. Vitamin D supports absorption. Omega-3s soothe inflammation. Hydration supports joint cushioning. When you treat food as a form of care rather than a routine, your body responds with resilience. Then there's the emotional piece, something many people underestimate. Fear-based inactivity is one of the biggest threats to senior health. When someone becomes afraid to move because they worry about pain or falling, their world becomes smaller. Muscles weaken, balance declines, bones deteriorate faster. But the moment a senior chooses courage over fear, even in a small way, by taking a short walk, practicing balance, or engaging in gentle exercise, their body begins to fight back. Confidence grows. Movement becomes less intimidating. Independence lasts longer. Regular checkups are another form of strength. They aren't just appointments, they are moments to adjust, reevaluate, and reinforce your health plan. Every visit is a reminder that you're not walking this journey alone. And finally, the most powerful principle of all is belief. Belief that your body is still capable of healing. Belief that progress is possible. Belief that age is not a barrier, but a stage of life that requires wisdom and intention. I've seen seniors in their 80s build stronger bones, reduce their pain, and reclaim independence. Not because they were lucky, but because they believed they could change and acted accordingly. When you combine early detection, consistent habits, good nutrition, emotional courage, proactive checkups, and a belief in your own potential, you create a life where arthritis and osteoporosis do not define you. They become challenges you manage rather than obstacles that manage you. With these principles in your hands, you're ready to step into the next chapter with strength, clarity, and hope. Hope, strength, and taking action today. As we come to the end of our time together, I want you to pause and take a slow breath with me. Many seniors believe that pain, stiffness, or bone weakness are signs that their best years are behind them, but the truth is far more comforting. These sensations are not signs of decline. They are invitations. Your body is asking for care, attention, and understanding. It is reminding you that healing is possible, even now. The truth about arthritis versus osteoporosis is not a story of limitation. It is a story of possibility. With the right steps, these conditions can be managed, controlled, and softened. I've spent decades caring for adults in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, and I have witnessed something extraordinary again and again. A body that has lived for so many years can still surprise you with its strength. Bones can rebuild. Joints can regain mobility. Muscles can grow stronger. Confidence can return. It happens not through grand gestures, but through small, consistent choices. Walk a little every day. Eat with intention. Strengthen the muscles that support your bones. Check your vitamin D. Move in ways that bring you joy. Stay socially connected. These simple steps create a powerful foundation for healing, and they remind your body that you have not given up on it. Take a moment to honor the body you live in. It has carried you through countless challenges, memories, and seasons of life. It deserves your patience. It deserves your gratitude. It deserves to be cared for with kindness. And above all, remember this. Independence is not something you lose with age. It is something you protect with knowledge, courage, and action. Your future is still yours to shape. If today's video brought you clarity or comfort, I invite you to stay with our Senior Health Daily community. Keep learning, stay proactive, and let us walk beside you with guidance, encouragement, and hope. You are not alone on this journey, and your strongest years may still be ahead.